welcome back to Light Talk, where everyday people can share their own unique spiritual journey stories, including paranormal, NDEs, OBEs, or anything unexplained. Feel free to contact me by emailing me at lighttalk423 at gmail.com. And while you're at it, click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons. Well, once again, we have a fantastic guest today, and she's going to share some of her stories. So, welcome to us. And I'm going to hand the mic over. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Sue, and I am a lifelong traveler in this lifetime. I have been a Wiccan for 20 plus years, um, and I am continuing on my journey of growth. And I'm here today to talk to you about ghosts. Um, there are a number of kinds of ghosts. Some are just protectors that hang around to keep us on the safe side. Some are spirits that don't even know they're dead, and they're kind of trapped in this time and space. Um, Others are seeking something. They don't know that they're necessarily dead, but there's something unresolved in their space. I have had encounters with a number of ghosts. Um, at a job I had, we had this wonderful fireplace, and there was a woman that hung out there. And several people saw her, and more people heard her. And some of us were sitting in the ice cream parlor one day, and one of my residents said, "Oh, I don't believe that. I just don't believe that's possible." And we had had ice cream sundaes in the heavy ice cream sundae dishes. And I had sat one on the back bar. And I said, well, that's your choice. You get to believe or not. And at that moment, this ice cream glass, now there was nobody in the area, we were all away from it, started moving to the edge of the counter. It went over the counter, hung for a couple of seconds, and dropped. And this resident looked at me and he said, "Did you do that?" I said, "No, I wasn't even near it."
I
"No,
was
you're
way
not
over
hanging out
here.
with us." Yeah. And he said, "Well, maybe I will start thinking about it." A week or so later, he actually saw her.
Oh,
So yes, he he was a believer at that point.
nice.
Another encounter, I had a cousin that had a really old house, and we went over there, and he was telling me about this ghost that was hanging out in his upstairs. And I said, okay. He said, but I don't know what's going on with it. There's something not right. The energy isn't right. So I went up and just kind of sat there and was still, excuse me, and waited a little bit. And he was right. There was something not quite right with this ghost. So I went downstairs and I said, I need a paper and pen. And I had never done this before, but I sat there and instinctively I knew to protect myself. The only part that was the least bit out was my hand. And I sat there with this pen and paper, closed my eyes, and offered to let the spirit use my hand, nothing but my hand. It could go no further than my hand, and tell us what was going on. And I just sat there with my eyes closed and I wrote this whole narrative about this spirit that was lost, didn't know where to find the family. It was a younger girl, and she was lost. So I went back upstairs and I sat down and I just talked to her that it was okay. She was going to be fine. And she just needed to look around her and find the light and go through the light, that her family was waiting for her on the other side. She just had to go to the light. And all of a sudden, the energy in the space got very calm and she was gone. And I went
How sweet.
downstairs, told my cousin that I had released her. And his wife was very upset with me.
Oh no, she
Yeah,
wanted her there.
yeah. And I said, no, 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 no. It was not right to keep, once we knew she was there and knew what the problem was, we could not keep her here. She
Yeah,
needed to be released.
yeah. She needed to go home.
She did.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
longer she was there, the more scared she got. And at some
yeah,
point that fright would have started to turn more toward anger. And then she could have been
yeah,
destructive.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I can't. If I know there's a spirit that needs to be released, I have to release it. I cannot allow it to stay when it doesn't
yeah.
belong.
Right. It's their free
So,
will. You need to, if they're asking for it, you gotta help them.
absolutely.
You gotta help
And
them. Yeah.
sometimes it's just a matter of listening.
Hmm.
You because they're around us all the time in some form or other, whether they're our guides or whether
Hmm.
the like this young woman looking for release, spirits are around us all the time.
Yeah.
We just have to
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah. Stay
And
calm and open up.
sometimes, yep. And
Yeah.
sometimes they come to us in dreams.
Yeah.
I had a sister who passed at a very young age in 1974. Um, she was a year and a half younger than I, and her death was traumatic. Um, and it took me a long time to even start grieving for her. And a couple of years later, I met my husband, and he and I were planning our wedding. And my mom and I were talking, and I said, I want my sister here. I want my sister to meet him.
Hmm.
She was supposed to be my maid of honor.
Um,
And I went to bed that night, and obviously I wear glasses, and I can't see more than this far in front of my face without them. I mean, I am incredibly nearsighted. So I went to sleep, um, and I knew I was dreaming, but I was at my mom's house. And mom and I were sitting in her living room, and there was a knock on the door, and I went to the door and opened it up, and it was my sister. And she gave me this wonderful hug, and we went back in the living room with my mom, and she said, I don't have very long. I can only stay a little bit, but I wanted you both to know that I'm okay. I'm happy. I am healed. I It's okay. And she told me that she had already met my husband and she liked him.
yeah.
And she said, now I have to go. And she was gone. And I woke up in this cocoon of warmth.
Oh,
And I
how
looked over
sweet.
and I keep my alarm clock across the room. Otherwise, I'll shut it off and sleep through it. Yeah. Now I don't use an alarm clock. I use my phone and I have two alarms set. But anyway, I
You
looked
got to make sure.
over and my clock said 3:54. And I went back to sleep. Didn't think anything about it. Woke up and went, wait, how did I see my clock? I didn't have my glasses on. How did I see it? And I went, oh, I got to call mom. Got to call my mom. So I reached for the phone and it rang. Like, okay. Picked it up and it was my mom. And she says, I have to tell you something. And I said, oh, I have to tell you something.
Oh my goodness.
And I said, go first. And she described this dream to me. The only difference between what she dreamed and what I dreamed was who answered the door.
Oh my goodness.
In my dream, I
Wow.
answered the door, and it's not even a dream, it was a visitation.
Right,
Okay.
right, right. Yeah,
And
I
in
just I'm getting
mom's,
chills right now.
and mom's, she answered the door. So we both got these amazing hugs from my sister.
That's
And mom
so
said she
awesome.
woke up and she just felt such warmth. And she looked across the room at her clock. Want to guess what time it said?
350, but two
3:54.
352. Four. Okay.
Close enough. Yeah. We had the visitation from my sister at the same time.
Same time.
And
That's
it was
awesome.
one of the most incredible experiences of my life that I knew my sister was okay. And I knew she'd be at my wedding.
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
was. And
yeah.
it was, that one was, yeah. And that was before I actually started walking this spiritual path that I'm on now. Because that was in 76. My mom passed in, let me think, 72, 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago. And that's when I actually stepped on this spiritual path.
Wow. Wow.
And it was amazing. My mom was one of the most incredibly intuitive people I've ever known.
Oh, wow. And you
Yeah.
didn't start earlier?
No, we just lived, and that was just mom. If something happened one night, my husband and I were
Hmm.
driving home, and it was really late, and we got in an accident. We were neither one hurt, but it was really late by the time we got home. And I said, I got to call mom. And Bob looked at me and he goes, do you know what time it is? And I'm like, I don't care. She's not asleep. So I called her and she picked up the phone and went, what's wrong? What's wrong?
Yeah.
I know something happened. And we were neither one hurt, but she
Hmm.
knew that something had
Right.
happened.
Right.
And that was just normal because that
So
was
you
lifelong
knew,
with my mom.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you knew to call her because you knew that she already knew that she
Oh,
knew that
yeah.
you knew that,
Yeah.
yeah.
And she would not have slept until, and she didn't always know which one of us, but she would know that something happened because I also have a brother. And it, as until she knew we were all safe, she wouldn't sleep. It was
Yeah, that's
amazing.
pretty amazing. Yeah, I've had dreams of my mom too, and that's really cool because it's like you kind of know it's a dream. But I don't know
Hmm.
how to control it. It's not lucid or anything. It's just like a dream. But she's
Yeah.
been in my dreams several times, especially
Yeah.
lately.
And those are visitations.
Hmm.
They're not just the normal chaotic fractured dreams that we all have,
Right.
but when it's a visitation, when you wake up, you can tell the difference. And even within the visitation, you can tell the difference that this is not my normal dreams.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
there's a
typically,
little bit. Yeah.
and we don't typically remember our dreams in such clarity as we do with a visitation.
Okay. I can see that. I've been journaling a lot with my dreams lately. And there's some dreams wake up right after the dream and I can't remember a thing of it, or it's very
Hmm.
spotty, it's bouncy, it's like, oh, I remember this and then this, but back to this, and just it's like all bouncy. And some of them it's just like I could just write it
Hmm.
from beginning to end.
Yeah. Dreams are amazing.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, I love talking about dreams.
Yeah. I just got a book. Actually, I got two books for Christmas about dreams. So I'm
Oh,
excited to start
awesome.
reading that. So it's like a help kind of. determine what my dreams are trying to tell me and
Hmm.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And even more than the books, just keep going back to your journal
Okay.
because it may not make sense at the time,
Mhm.
but it will. When you're supposed to understand it, you will.
Yeah.
It's
I
kind of
had
like
a,
when
go ahead.
it's kind of like when we do an oracle reading.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's like boom, 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 boom. Everything
Mhm.
resonates. It's all good. Woo! What fun that was. And other
Right.
times, the person that we're reading for looks at us and goes, no, don't have a clue.
Right.
And remember when we were doing them in class
Right.
and I pulled my bear in, and I think it was Noelle, didn't have a clue. And
Yeah.
a little later, it all just kind of went into place for her,
Uh-huh.
and I was spot on.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
And
a lot of that. A lot of that. So
mhm,
yeah, I mean, um, I have a lot of similarities in my dreams. Um, a lot of like mountainy scenes, go figure, huh? Um, a lot of mountain scenery. I have a lot of driving. So it's like a lot of driving in the mountains. So
okay,
so I want to kind of figure out that seems to be telling me something. I feel like there's messages of like moving forward or something like that, or
I'm moving
I need
up.
to, or moving up, or I'm
Mhm.
grounding, need to ground some more. I feel like
So let
there's
me ask you a
something there, but
question.
what was that?
When you're driving and you're in the mountains, how does that make you feel on a gut level? First thought,
Relaxed.
okay?
It'd be like relaxed, spiritual, um, closer to God,
Okay.
that kind of stuff. Just more relaxed. I just like, ah,
Hmm.
yeah.
You're re-energizing yourself. You're
Is that what it
refilling
is?
your energy. It's like we all have a certain amount of energy that we can give out without depleting our own. But at a certain point, we start using our own energy and giving our own energy to others. And if we don't take the time to refill our own energy and to replenish that energy surplus that we have to give to the world, to give to our loved ones, to whomever, if we don't recapture that and refill both of those, then we wind up depleted.
That
And
makes absolute
sometimes,
sense.
yeah, and sometimes we don't even know how depleted we are until we have to dream and go into the mountains and relax and let that energy just come right back in.
Oh, that's so spot on, Sue. Because I haven't been to the mountains for so long. And then having all these dreams, that makes total sense. And I've been like, oh, I gotta get to the mountains. Like, we gotta get up there, gotta get up there, gotta get up, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and
If you're
that's
there,
reason why I have to have this picture today. Check that out.
check it out. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's one kind of reiterate. Said this at the beginning of my podcast when I started showing it. All the pictures in my background are ones I've personally taken. And so those are all my pictures. And
Wow.
the shirts that I wear is funny because the shirts that I wear are all ones that my mom had. So that's kind of a little quick history. So
Yeah. I have some of my nieces that I'm not able to wear just yet, but I will.
good, good.
2025 is going to be my year of healing.
Mine too. Mine is going to be actually the year of growth. I am going to skyrocket this year, and I don't know where I'm going to be led to, but I am going to grow so much, and I'm so excited and so stoked for it. I'm so excited.
Either you will be given ground to stand on or wings to fly.
Both,
Both. Yeah,
both.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
I have
I'm,
a little more healing to do, but I'll get there.
you will. You will.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a friend to connect with. So,
Oh, absolutely. And
yeah.
that's one of the magics of life is that when we're in a place that we desperately need someone to hold on to, someone to help us walk through it, those people are there. And
Always
you've
on
been part
time.
of that for me this year.
Oh, oh, shucks.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh.
yeah. You know, it's been a hard year with
Yeah.
losing my niece at a very young age of 41. So it's been a really difficult year. And I was at a point that I needed help. I needed people that would hold space for me and love on me without reservation, without
Mhm.
explanation, without judgment. And I found you, and I found a whole group of people.
Yeah. And to let everybody know, when we went through our Oracle class this past year in 2024, Sue and I were both in the classes together, class one and two, as
Yes.
our teacher, Kim Nichols. So it was a great time. She's a great teacher, and we did grow a lot together, all of us.
Yes, we did.
It was
And you're a great
fantastic.
teacher too.
Oh,
You
I'm
teach
working
through
on
your
it.
podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
We we
yeah.
we're all teachers in one form or another. We all teach. Mm.
You're exactly right.
Yes.
In some way or another. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You had another story for us about your aura with
Oh,
your past life. Can you explain a
yes.
little more on that?
Um, we all have auras
Hmm.
and we carry trauma either from this life or from past lives in our aura. And occasionally, um, we have a past life death scenario that works its way to the surface and impacts our current day life. And one of the things that I'm able to do, I don't see auras. A lot of people do, but I don't see them. And I really don't physically see the death trauma, but I can see in my third eye, I can see what that instrument of death was. And if the person is ready for it to come off and to process that trauma, then I can help remove that from them. I had a lady that was choking for no apparent reason, and this was in a spirituality class, and she was just choking. And this was the first time it ever happened, and I had no clue what was going on. I'm sitting
Yeah.
there and I'm seeing this rope around her neck, and it's like she's hanging and she's choking. And the facilitator looked at me and she said, "You need to get that off of her." And I'm like, what? Excuse me? And she said, "You see the rope?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Then take it off."
Oh, really?
And I looked at the lady and I said, "Are you ready for that to come off?" And she's going, and
Oh,
I
my.
just reached over and I took the rope off and she stopped choking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the most
Wow.
dramatic one. Um, but yeah. And it's not, I don't see it all the time.
Hmm.
It's only when the person is ready to release that death trauma, and then I can help them get rid of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It
I
was kind
haven't
of
had.
scary the first time.
Yeah, I bet. I bet, it's like, what am I supposed to do,
Yeah.
And good thing you had a teacher right there to kind of help you understand and know what to do. I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
Because otherwise I would have probably freaked out
Yeah,
that, okay, so
crazy.
now I'm seeing things.
On top of all those others.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, okay. But yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's not happened a lot, but it happens.
Hmm. Yeah, I had
So
one time I was in a gathering. There was a group of us that had gathered, and in the midst of it, I saw up with my third eye up in my top in my right side up here. Um, I saw this man putting on a prosthetic leg. And at first I thought it was my brother. And I'm like, my brother doesn't have a prosthetic leg. So the more I thought about it, it's like, no, this person was not my brother, but at first I felt it as my brother. And I don't know who it was. I don't know where he came from or what, but he just appeared and he was gone. Yeah, kind of
we
weird.
we have we have soul groups, and he may have been from a past life part of your soul group. It was just popping in to say hi.
Could be, could be.
Sometimes, a lot of times we reincarnate with that, a lot of that group, but not always.
Right. Okay.
So,
Interesting. Yeah. Well,
because
that
I
was
just see
right.
him going, hiya.
You just saw him?
Yeah. It's like,
Did you?
hi, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, hello. I won't forget you. I remember you.
Right?
It was definitely my first visual like that, and it was very interesting.
It is.
Right. Yeah. Pretty crazy.
It's, you
Wow.
know, and, when, especially with children, they talk about their invisible friends who are not invisible to
Oh,
them. And that person is with them for a reason. And, my parents did the best they could, but I was a strange child, putting it bluntly. Um, and it took me a long time to, and sometimes I still struggle with the blocks that I put in place because of what I was told by adults, that there's nobody there. And if adults who are supposed to be taking care of you and know what's best for you are telling you there's nobody there, but you're seeing something, and it's like, okay, I don't
I'm
see you
crazy.
anymore.
Right. Right.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm the crazy one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's not like that.
it's not
Oh,
crazy. My
it's
my
not crazy.
um one more story. I
Okay.
have a great nephew who, when he was 3, 4-ish, had his own bedroom. And my niece called me and she said, Aunt Sue, he won't go in his room. And I'm like, okay. She said he was, but now all of a sudden he won't even go in there. He cries. So she said, would you come up and see what you can sense? Sure, I'll come up. So I gathered for cleansing, I use sage, I use salt. Um, and so I gathered up my supplies and I went to her house. And I walked in the room and I went, "Ooh, if I were a kid, I wouldn't come in here either." And it wasn't malicious, but there was something there that was not beneficial to my nephew. And I didn't go any further into it than that. Whatever was there was not beneficial to my nephew. So I told Heather, I said, we need to cleanse your house and walked her through the process. And I said, how do you feel about the nephew being involved in this? Said,
Mhm.
I think it will benefit him if he's part of this.
I think
And
so
she had to
too.
think about it. I mean, he's only 4.
Hmm.
So she finally agreed. And we went through, and each one of us had a role, and we went through, cleansed her house, got everything kind of pushed into his bedroom. And I said, okay, you need to go open your window so we can get rid of them. And he said, I don't know if I can. And I said, I'll walk with you. And we walked in, he opened his window, and we sent everything out the window, told them they were no longer welcome.
Hmm.
And I said, now shut your window. And from that night on, he was fine in his room.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
I
Yeah,
love I love doing house cleansings.
that's so cool. I'm happy for you. That is just so great. I think that's a good spot to close up on. So I half an hour goes so fast.
It
To let
does.
everybody, yes, to let everybody know, I'm hoping next year or January, I am hoping to be able to have longer podcasts. So, um, any thoughts on that is going to be welcomed in the comments below. So go ahead and put your comments down there. And if you have any stories you would like to share of seeing any ghost or paranormal stuff or any cryptid or anything like that, feel absolutely free and welcome and to be yourself and tell your stories. Email lighttalk423@gmail.com. And while you're at it, click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons down below. And we will talk with everybody next time. And thank you for being with us. Bye.
Bye.